Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
And we begin tonight with a man recovering from a road rage shooting on the city's west side. It's breaking news. San Antonio police say it happened a little after 7 o'clock this evening on West Commerce near Southwest 24th and 25th Streets.
So details are limited, but here's what we know so far. Officers are telling us that they were responding to a call for shots fired when they found a man with a gunshot wound. He was taken to BAMC. He is expected to recover. Now, in the meantime, investigators say that the victim's vehicle is being processed, and officers are working to get a description of the suspect's vehicle. It's believed that the incident happened at a different location.
Let's shift gears now. Children as young as 4 years old, victims of human trafficking right here in our community.
Scary to think about, but there are laws to punish the people who do that. However, advocates say that they're just not enough. They say we need to do more to help survivors of human trafficking. The Night Team's Patty Santos has the story.
Statistics will show that within 24 hours, 1 in 3 runaways is sold into sex trafficking.
I-10, 281, and I-35 create a corridor for the easy flow of children and adults forced into sex and slave labor, says Cara McMichael with BCFS Health and Human Services.
Another thing that you see is the kids peddling on the street corner.
But roadways aren't the only avenue for the crime.
I would say that we have seen an increase in online exploitation.
McMichael says victims often find themselves being forced to work in area hotels, kitchens, and massage parlors. A new upgrade to a Texas law makes it a state first-degree felony to solicit adult prostitutes. The law now also punishes property owners who turn a blind eye to trafficking. For example, hotel operators with known problems. Similar laws are working in other places.
Where that has already been implemented in California, they have seen a significant reduction because the owners are getting involved and they're starting to clear out their own businesses.
A similar San Antonio ordinance in place and enforced by the Dangerous Assessment Response Team have addressed a handful of properties with allegations of sex trafficking, but a city spokesperson said lack of evidence prevented any charges. Still, agencies like the Kerr County Sheriff's Department are joining forces with other agencies to search for victims through sex crime arrests.
We're still trying to break through these cases. These cases are really hard to get into due to a lot of times the victims are either under some sort of duress or threat to prevent them from speaking out.
The National Human Trafficking Hotline ranks Texas second after California in calls on sex and labor trafficking. McMichael says more education is needed to help survivors with the trauma.
Parents often aren't equipped to handle that, and as a result, the kids run again. And so we see a lot of recidivism as a result.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
If you notice a person that you think might be a victim of human trafficking, you can call local police. There are plenty of signs for you to look out for, and we have them on our website, KSAT.com. Also new tonight, a man and a woman are facing charges for allegedly tying and locking up children in cabinets, sometimes for days at a time. According to an arrest affidavit, 30-year-old Eric Martinez and the mother, 34-year-old Valerie Diaz, locked up the 3 kids, ages 5, 6, and 11, in complete darkness with zip ties. Police say the kids were given little food while they were locked up. They also couldn't use the bathroom. Investigators also say that Martinez abused the kids.
Decades behind bars, that's what's in store for the man charged with stabbing and killing Kevin Ryan back in 2019. Jimmy Turner accepting a plea deal today, but not before asking the family something.
It's inevitable.
On Saturdays, mostly on the weekend with college kids.
Bars near college campuses are going.
All right, this is obviously the wrong video. He asked for forgiveness because he says he does understand that he took Ryan's life. Despite saying it was an act of self-defense and asking for leniency today, Turner received a maximum sentence of 32 years in prison. The court says Turner and the victim got into an argument over a woman they were both seeing. At some point during the argument, Turner took out a knife and stabbed Ryan 4 times, then attacked the woman. After sentencing, Ryan's family addressed Turner.
You've torn our family apart, but that I hope you think about that for a very long time.
Turner was given 32 years for the murder, 20 years for burglary of a habitation. This is the right video. He will not have to serve that concurrently. That is him there. He's eligible for parole after 16 years.
We don't know when a Texas Med Clinic distribution site is going to be up and running again. We're talking about the one off of Gulfdale off Highway 281, which caught fire after a truck crashed into that building. Look at that. The San Antonio Fire Department says the driver had some sort of a medical episode before crashing, and that impact sparked a fire that spread to the entrance of the building. Now, the driver did make it out, was taken to the hospital for an evaluation. Nobody else was hurt, and everyone who was inside the building got out safely.
A man from San Antonio, the latest name added to the Texas 10 most wanted list. Take a look. 40-year-old Ruben Castro has been on the run since May for aggravated assault and violating his parole, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. The aggravated assault charge related to an incident in Atascosa County. DPS officials say Castro has ties to the Texas Mexican Mafia, should be considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, call Texas Crime Stoppers at 1-800-252-TIPS. You can remain anonymous.
Now, family, friends, and members of the community gathered tonight to remember the life of 12-year-old Danilo Coles. This was after he was allegedly beaten to death last night.
It hits a little closer to home knowing that it's right across the street. I couldn't imagine being in the parents' shoes and just knowing that that was the extent of what had to happen.
Tragic story, really. That vigil was held at the Extreme Harvest Church on Wurzbach, right across from the apartments where police found that little boy, Danilo Coles. Police say that they responded to 32-year-old Derek Coles and 27-year-old Capri Chitoma to their apartment for a report of an injured child. And then officers say that when they got there, the child was unresponsive. The couple alleged that the boy fell in the shower, but when he was taken to the hospital, staff found, quote, several suspicious injuries on the victim. He had no brain injury, no brain activity, and he was pronounced dead that night.
It's almost been 1 year since Texas froze over. People left in the dark for days.
Who can forget that? Some people even lost their lives. Now experts are breaking down the issue even more. Today on the 6 o'clock news, we spoke with Russell Gold. He's a power and energy expert and also a writer for Texas Monthly. And he recently wrote an article about last year's freeze and where we stand right now.
One of the biggest takeaways, how close we really were to a catastrophe.
We came within 2, 3, 4 minutes of losing the entire grid. And what I mean by that is that the grid would have had to shut down, something that's never happened before in Texas, never happened before in the United States, and then been slowly built back up. You're talking about weeks without power in Texas. It was really stunning how close we came. As bad as things were, it was almost considerably worse.
Gold says the focus is 100% on the natural gas supply. If that's not working efficiently, the Texas grid will not either. Gold believes if we would have seen another storm like last year, or if we do, we will likely have very similar problems.
And that just really scratches the surface of today's conversation. If you'd like to check the whole thing out, we have it posted for you on KSAT.com.
And that's not all. Happening tomorrow night, we're going to debut a new live streaming show hosted by myself and Stephania. The first episode of Breakdown with #Steph&Steve will focus on 1 year after the winter storm and if CPS Energy is prepared. One of the guests on the show will be CPS Energy interim president Rudy Garza. He says CPS never expected the weather to get as bad as it did, but since then, things have changed.
You know, we never contemplated an event of that scale, so, you know, we've gone back in and really, you know, reprogrammed that to make sure we can, you know, we can meet that type of catastrophic event.
Trust he knows needs to be built back. Also joining us will be District 7 Councilwoman Anna Sandoval, as well as other experts to give us insight into the changes made by CPS and ERCOT.
Now you could watch the Breakdown live tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow night starting at 7. It's going to be available on KSAT.com and on all KSAT streaming platforms. And if you want to join the conversation, which we invite you to do, you should use the #Steph&Steve on social media.
Temperatures cooling off pretty quickly and efficiently this evening, as they usually do this time of year. I think we'll settle down in the mid-30s tonight, so just above freezing. Some exceptions, obviously, in the hill country. Then tomorrow afternoon, it's up to 70 degrees. But we do have some changes regarding the Saturday morning cold front, and we're going to talk about that, and I'll give you the update in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. Now to the pandemic. Today, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention saying the Omicron variant now accounts for 100% of new COVID cases in the U.S. A newer subvariant of Omicron called BA.2 estimated to make up 3.6% of those new cases. The CDC's new report looked at new COVID cases between January 30th and February 5th nationwide.
So here's what those cases look like right here in Bexar County. Today, local health officials announced that there were 986 new COVID cases. So that brings our all-time total to more than 510,000. Meanwhile, 6 more people have died, and the total for that is now 5,165.
First time we've been under 1,000 new cases in quite some time. Yep. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, new job opportunities for Afghan refugees in San Antonio. How a refugee organization is making it possible for this to happen for those people that need it most. Plus, a new body cam video release policy gets approved. When we can expect the Bexar County Sheriff's Office to start implementing it.
And, it's getting even tougher to tell fake IDs apart from the real ones. So up next, we're going to talk about how local bars are cracking down on underage drinkers and the message they have for them. It's coming up.
Real or fake? It's getting harder to tell when it comes to IDs.
A security guard on the St. Mary Strip tells the Night Team's Lee Waldman that they're just seeing more of them.
It's inevitable.
On Saturdays, mostly on the weekend with college kids.
Bars near college campuses are going to see their fair share of fake IDs.
We found approximately about 8 or 9 fake IDs.
In his time as head of security at a bar on the St. Mary's Strip, Jose Alvarado noticed fake ID usage correlates with college schedules.
Right around November when the kids started getting released out for school, like the holidays, and it hasn't got progressively worse since probably November, December.
It's an issue not unique to our city. Chris Porter with TABC says it happens in others with college campuses.
A number of younger people, many of whom are underage, who might be trying to use a false ID to attempt to purchase alcohol. The good news is many bars are aware of the problem.
Which is why the bar Alvarado works at and others on the Strip look out for one another.
Hey, we've had an issue here. We want to let you know. So if you see them, you can make that call if you want to let them in or not at your bar. But this is the issue that we had here.
They're also taking greater precautions when it comes to checking IDs in the first place.
The Golden Star is basically one of the main indicators that we look for there. Also, I don't know if you could tell, if you look for here with the sun, there is a Texas emblem that's kind of like embroidered in.
And utilizing UV lights. While the use of fake IDs isn't uncommon, Porter and Alvarado hope minors understand it's not a victimless crime.
Not only am I at fault at it, but the whole bar gets shut down, then we put people out of work, and people still got to eat.
Someone who is underage, and those people go out, and they themselves may not face an injury, but they do take the life of someone who would otherwise have probably continued living.
Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Now for a look at your Nightbeat news flash. Body cameras, bundling, and budgets. That's what Bexar County commissioners debated about today. Sheriff Javier Salazar saying that he's going to be able to meet the county's new policy of releasing body cam video of critical incidents like shootings within 10 days of the incident. But that's after commissioners approved a deal bundling new tasers and upgraded body cam capabilities. Salazar says that his office will only now get access to automated redaction, whereas before they had to do it manually. Now, BCSO should meet the video release policy within 60 days. One of San Antonio's largest hotels relied on what it calls an untapped source of labor to kick off its hiring season, and that is Afghan refugees, and the response has been absolutely overwhelming. A spokesperson for JW Marriott San Antonio Hill Country Resort and Spa is telling us that about 100 men applied for 40 to 45 positions, but at least 200 Afghan refugees actually showed up. The Center for Refugee Services agreed to host the event because the hotel was offering jobs which mostly didn't really require English speakers. The center also helped them with transportation and immigration paperwork. Right now, their applications are under review, and of course, we wish them luck.
Absolutely. And a lot of those refugees helped our soldiers with translating and other things when they were over there during the Afghan war. So
yeah, it's hard to come here and get refugee status. So the fact that they're here, they earned it.
They want to work. All right, the Alamo, beautiful shot from Sky 12 tonight. And just like last night, quick drop off in temperatures, Adam Caskey.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Some people love it where you have those warm, comfortably warm afternoons, right around 70 degrees. And then by the evening, temperatures fall off. You need that jacket. 31 earlier this morning. So we had a brief light freeze earlier today. Then this afternoon, 66, which is exactly average for the day today. That's in town here, but you get closer to the Rio Grande and we made it into the lower 70s, including Del Rio and Cotulla. Let's talk about temperatures really across the board, because this helps to sum up our overall weather pattern. Notice how there really isn't much of a difference north to south. I mean, we're 44 in San Antonio. So is Omaha, Nebraska. Bismarck, North Dakota is 39. I mean, we're only 5 degrees warmer than them. Not a very strong jet stream overhead right now over the United States. And what you need to see is a big temperature difference. That's when you have an active weather pattern. This is a quiet weather pattern right now, and we're going to have several more days of sunshine until a weak cold front moves in on Saturday, and that's going to cause some changes. But right now, hey, just dropped to 33 in Kerrville. See that update right in front of our eyes? Hondo 37, 50 meanwhile in Pleasanton, and 44 now in New Braunfels. When we wake up in the morning tomorrow, most of us, I think, mid-30s, so a little above freezing. Of course, the usual exceptions in the hill country, Kerrville, Fredericksburg, about 30 degrees for morning temperatures. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're talking 70 degrees. I mean, look at this, 73 Cotulla, 71 in and around San Antonio, some upper 60s as you get to Bulverde, Canyon Lake, and Bernie as well. But overall, right near 70 degrees. Things change on Saturday. That's when our next cold front hits. Very early on Saturday, it's going to kick up the wind, gusting up to about 35 miles per hour, and keep those high temperatures only in the upper 50s for Saturday afternoon. So let's talk about that front. Quiet weather today, obviously. We had a couple of high thin clouds. That's about it. That's about all we had in our sky. Very dry air, not just here at the ground, but all the way above us as well. So cloud-free sky and quiet weather pattern across the nation. It's, as I mentioned before, when you see those big temperature differences, that's when you start to see things get stirred up. We don't have that right now, at least not at the moment. So more of the same all the way through Friday. By Saturday, that's when that cold front hits early in the morning. It could kickstart 1 or 2 showers, just very brief, isolated light showers, only about a 10 to 20% chance. I think the main headline with the Saturday cold front will be a cool afternoon. We talked about that. And also the wind gusts. It's going to be a gusty day on your Saturday. I mean, we're talking some gusts up to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. You're not going to notice the wind tomorrow. Really not going to notice it much until we get into Saturday. Wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow, making it up to 70 degrees the next 3 days. And then Saturday's when we cool down. It's not going to get frigid by any means. We have felt worse this winter, but you're going to notice it, and just something to prepare for in the days ahead.
You know, I see the
hearts?
The hearts on Monday. Should have had something for today, Stephania's birthday.
Yeah.
That's right.
I just,
Keeps putting it out there.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there that maybe something should have happened. Greg gave you a round of applause.
I know. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about DeJounte, because we finally found out how he found out that he made the All-Star team.
Yeah, and it was a very emotional moment for him when he did find out. We'll let you know who told him about that, about being an All-Star for the first time in his career. And the Texans introduce their new head coach today. Coming up. For the first time since being named to the NBA All-Star Game, a first in his NBA career, DeJounte Murray met the media today. Speaking from his hotel in Cleveland, where the Spurs will tip off their rodeo road trip tomorrow against the Cavs, Murray reacted being named to the Western Conference All-Star team in place of the injured Draymond Green just 2 days before he could break the franchise record for triple-doubles with 14 set by Hall of Famer David Robinson. DeJounte told us tonight it was Pop who delivered the news.
I just broke down with my family. Broke down crying with my family and stuff, and it just was a real moment, just for them to see and hear that, and just everything I've been through, not even just me, just my family. We dealt with a lot, since I was really, really young all the way to now. Still deal with a lot, so it's good to just see some blessings just coming through to good people.
All right, congratulations, DeJounte. It all starts tomorrow, the rodeo road trip at 6 o'clock in Cleveland.
Pro Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
After flirting with Josh McCown and fired Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, Houston Texans announced today that Lovie Smith will be the 5th head coach in franchise history. Smith was the associate head coach and defensive coordinator last year for the Texans, was promoted to head coach today. His third stint in that capacity in the NFL after a 14-year run in Chicago, leading the Bears to Super Bowl 46, losing to the Colts 29-17, followed by a shorter, more disappointing 3-year run in Tampa Bay. Today, Texans general manager Nick Caserio was asked if Flores' decision to sue the NFL that included a section on the Texans firing David Culley after only one season played any role in his decision to promote Smith.
Didn't affect us at all, I would say. Just speaking specific to Brian, so, I've known Brian a long time, personally and professionally. I have a lot of respect for Brian as a coach and a person. He was a part of this process. He's been a good coach in this league for a number of years. Part of my responsibility was to spend time with as many quality candidates as possible, and Brian was one of those.
This moment is pretty special. It's not often you get a chance to lead 3 professional football teams. I don't know if there's a guy that looks like me that's had an opportunity to do that, so that's pretty special.
Now, he may be the only second season in the NFL, but Joe Burrow is giving out some sage advice during the annual Super Bowl Media Day last night. The Cincinnati quarterback was asked, what advice would he give up-and-coming athletes who might want to play in the Super Bowl or college national championship game one day?
Focus on getting better. Focus on, don't have a workout and go and post it on Instagram the next day and then go and sit on your butt for 4 days and everyone thinks you're working hard, but you're really not. Work in silence. Don't show everybody what you're doing. Let your game on Friday nights and Saturday nights and Sunday nights show all the hard work that you put in. Don't worry about all that social media stuff.
Now that Tom Brady has retired, beat the oldest player in the NFL, he's 40-year-old Andrew Whitworth, who is playing in Super Bowl 56 this Sunday as a member of the Los Angeles Rams. Whitworth is the oldest starting left tackle in the league history, even older than his own head coach, who's 36, and he embraces it.
Everybody's going to give you the old jokes and is it positive to be the old guy and all that type stuff, but the reality is, yes, it's pretty cool. It's neat for me to go out on the football field and think I'm going to be most weeks facing some 22, 26, 28-year-old defensive end who thinks that nothing can faze them, and they've when they get hit they feel fine and all that good stuff, and I'm going out there just trying to put my body together enough to make it through the game and still getting my job done. It's like that's so much fun.
That's right. Super Bowl 56 kicks off Sunday at 5:30. Funeral services set for 2 legends next. Girls high school basketball tonight, regular season finale for the Johnson Jaguars. They prepare for the playoffs, taking on Roosevelt, Littleton Gym. First quarter, Rough Riders catch fire from distance. Kennedy Ray hits her second straight 3 to pull Roosevelt within 1, but the Jaguars answer quickly. Nice feed inside to Addison Iden for the turnaround jumper. Jaguars cap off the regular season with a win, 69-31. Funeral services for legendary broadcaster Gary DeLon have now been set. The Emmy Award-winning and San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame member passed away this past Sunday for complications due to COVID-related illnesses. He was 88. Family has asked that those attending the service dress in bright colors, as Gary requested, as he's well known for his outlandish sports coats that matched his infectious smile. And in lieu of flowers, you can donate to the Gary DeLon Memorial Journalism Scholarship Fund at Frost Bank. Here are the details. Will be held at Oak Hills Church Friday at 1:30. We have lost 2 legends just days apart as a family of former St. Mary's basketball player, coach, athletic director, and national champion. Buddy Meyer announced his funeral arrangements today. The San Antonio Sports Hall of Famer passed away last week at the age of 82 following emergency surgery after retiring from coaching in 2005, but remained very much a part of the university. In lieu of flowers, the family is asking for donations to the Hanson Fund for St. Mary's men's basketball. A rosary will be said for Buddy on Sunday at 7:30. The funeral mass is Monday at 10 a.m. at St. Matthew Catholic Church. I said earlier it was going to be on Friday and Saturday. Change that for you tonight. It's going to be Sunday, Monday, because 2 legends deserve different days to be honored and remembered.
Absolutely. And, we talked at 6 o'clock about 2 men that shared passion for what they did.
Sure did.
They also had a passion for the city.
Absolutely. And, just giants in this community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back after this. So check this out. The San Antonio Zoo is allowing people to name cockroaches after ex-lovers and then watch them get fed to animals for Valentine's Day. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, you can purchase a live cockroach for $10 or a frozen rat for $25. We have the links available on our website, KSAT.com, and Kasky already says he's going to buy a rat.
I just love it when they feed the snakes. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, 30s tomorrow morning, mid-30s, so just above freezing by the afternoon. We're 70 degrees, same through Friday.
I, by the way, can find plenty of cockroaches for less than $10.